get
the
it.
bug. You get the bug. Oh, thanks,
I
buddy.
kissed it away.
Yeah, you kissed it. Okay, that's weird.
Mjolnir. You're back. Mjolnir.
Hey, welcome to Reviews on the Run. Scott and I just went and saw a movie together. Scott Jones joined me for a movie date. We saw Thor, Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, that's us, baby.
It's kind of an appropriate movie to go
I'm
see
Love,
together.
you're Thunder.
That's right. What did you think of the new Thor film?
Well, you know, I'm not really like the biggest fan of the Marvel universe, the metaverse, whatever you kids are calling it.
I remember
these
having
days.
a nice long fight around the second Thor movie.
I miss our fights.
Yes.
You know, and then lawyers got involved and it all went to hell. But the thing is, it's you know, I like Thor Ragnarok quite a bit.
Yeah,
I
yes.
really enjoyed that far more than I ever thought I would. And what I liked about that movie in particular was the fact that it sort of lifted a page from the Deadpool playbook.
Right.
And I like the Deadpool playbook. It's a fun movie.
Yes.
There's lots of humor. There's lots of visual puns and there's lots of color as well. And that's what I went into this expecting more of, more Ragnarok. Because the director, Taika Waititi, did I say that right?
Yep.
I love him.
He's amazing.
He's one of the most creative human beings on the planet, without a doubt.
Yeah, and clearly Marvel knows that, and they've given him a ton of roadway here to make the craziest movie. I likened Thor Ragnarok to the 80s Flash Gordon movie, and I think this even cranks the Flash Gordon knob a little bit more in Thor Love and Thunder. Because, I mean, the guy has got a Viking ship that's piloted by a couple of screaming goats in this movie.
Yes.
Which is a tiny, tiny little spoiler. This is a non-spoilery review.
That's right.
But that is pretty insane. And there are lots of stacked ideas in this thing that you're just like, what? Anything goes. Anything can go in this.
There are moments in this where you literally feel like this is a heavy metal album cover that's come to life once again, and I think those are the best moments. There's one moment in particular, I'm not going to spoil it, but all of a sudden the song Sweet Child of Mine comes on the soundtrack, and they're in that ship or they're flying on a rainbow, and I'm like, I'm happy. This is where I want to be. I want to be in this movie.
I think it's an incredibly entertaining trip, this movie. But I do think that there's no way to kind of come out of the shadow of the originality of Thor Ragnarok, because that exploded out there. Everybody was like, we were not prepared for the pivot that Taika Waititi took us on, and that movie was exceptional. But I feel like if the order was reversed, we would be saying the same thing.
I know, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. No, that's the thing.
It wasn't.
Go to Daddy. No need. Hey, there you are. Hey. I was just calling you.
No, but the thing is, it's like, I totally agree with you 100%. I love the energy of Ragnarok. I expected more of it here, but I feel like instead of going to 11, it kind of goes down to like 8 or 9 here.
Well, it's a little diffused as well, right? Because one of the things that we've seen with all of these Marvel films is they pile in more things. They pile in more effects and more characters. Guardians of the Galaxy, a huge part of it, which I honestly thought was charming, and I thought the attachment that Chris Hemsworth and his Thor character have to the Guardians was lovely and funny.
But I wanted it to mean more.
Yes.
You know, they're sort of there. They're like window dressing for a scene, and then they're gone. I'm not really spoiling anything. They hardly play any role at all here.
I think that's also one of the challenges with the film, because it does deal with some pretty heavy plot points. There's some real, life and death situations, and Christian Bale is a terrific villain as Gore the God Killer. But it is kind of asking you a lot to believe in those heavy moments, because it's so self-aware and so irreverential and silly that you just don't know if you should care, if you should sort of commit to the sort of full sadness that you might experience.
You're caught between like a Lifetime movie, the emotions of the Lifetime movie, and there are big emotions here, and then there's Ham, and you're somewhere between a Lifetime movie and the Ham. You're right in the middle.
And then some epic action beats as well, like some really, truly incredible fight sequences. When you buy a Marvel movie ticket, you expect that, and it delivers that. I think what's surprising is that this is not as surprising as what we would expect from this director.
I expected more ham.
Yeah?
And it seemed like it was a little light on the ham, actually. I went in there like...
You wanted more comedy.
I wanted it to have fun and have that sort of joy, the joyful discovery like Ragnarok was.
Right.
And it just never quite reached that same tenor.
I honestly feel like Waititi is so funny and brilliant, but he's got I think a bit of a challenge, and I'm wondering if Kevin Feige and the rest of the team at Marvel were trying to rein it back a little bit and not go the full tilt, because I feel like he's pushing it all the time, and this feels so different. I don't think it's as funny and outrageous and surprising as Ragnarok, but there is some really crazy, silly stuff.
I'm really glad you called out Christian Bale as the God Butcher.
Yeah,
he was really wonderful.
He was
in
excellent.
This. Yeah, and the thing is, it's like as a villain, he has a terrific mission. Like the gods, if you look at the gods, they're all selfish.
Right.
They all just serve themselves,
right.
and they don't really help people, and they just destroy, and they're selfish. And I kind of felt empathy for him.
Yeah.
I really did, and I think that's Christian Bale, though. If you cast anybody else in that role, I'm not sure I would have felt as much.
He's phenomenal in the thing, absolutely. He throws himself into every role. I mean, you expect that out of Christian Bale as well. But what did you think of Natalie Portman as the mighty Thor?
I have mixed feelings about her.
Yeah.
I like her. I have a lot of respect for her career. I have a lot of respect for the choices she makes. Like, I'm not the Marvel scholar that you are, so I didn't really understand how she suddenly is a Thor.
Yeah.
But she's suddenly a Thor. She's got all the costumes on. She's got all the weapons. She can call the magic hammer, and she can, fly in the air. I'm like, how does she know how to do this all of a sudden?
Physically, she definitely fits the role.
She does, for sure.
And I think there's a great actor that always delivers on performance there, but it is a pretty big leap that we have to take as audience members to believe what is happening, right? Because the movie takes us down one road, and then all of a sudden we are watching Natalie Portman just kick ass right alongside Chris Hemsworth.
She really does too. She really gets into it. The other thing that I think is kind of missing here for me, I thought, again, back to Ragnarok, but I thought it had a better sense of place.
Right.
I miss Asgard, and now they do have a new Asgard.
Yes.
It's just like a little town, and it's sort of quaint, but it's not really the spectacle
No.
that it was in the previous movies. And I also just sort of miss the sort of gladiator arena where Thor fought Hulk in Ragnarok.
Right.
And I just felt like it was really grounded in a real place, and I never felt like I had my feet on the ground in this movie.
You can sort of see the matte paintings and the locations are sort of all, digitized in for sure. But it is beautiful work. I mean, visually, this is a gorgeous film filled with rainbows.
What did you think of the black and white segments?
I thought the black and white stuff was really cool.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Part of me was wondering, would the whole movie work with this? I thought it was really gorgeous, though.
Yeah.
The whole thing is gorgeous.
It is.
The color palette just pops off the screen, for sure.
I feel like we're comparing this to Waititi's previous work, and I don't know if that's incredibly fair with this. I feel like...
I don't care if it's fair.
But I feel like, these Marvel movies, at least for me, they're always something that you rewatch, and you always get a little bit more from them.
Who rewatches
I do
this?
them. I like rewatching them because there's so much.
My life.
There's so much artistic work and so much creativity and ambition in these things, and I feel like Thor: Love and Thunder is one of these movies that will grow in estimation and appreciation over time. And I feel like there will be a little bit more of a balance, because right now Ragnarok is sitting way up here because
where
it
it
shocked
belongs,
us, and Thor: Love and Thunder is sitting right.
Listen,
right
when you
about
go
there.
to a movie and it shocks you the way that Ragnarok shocked everyone, you never forget that.
Right.
It happens very rarely in our lifetimes, and this is more of like a placeholder. Like, Chris Hemsworth is great.
Yes.
Like, he's great.
I mean, we're listing off all these things that we like about it,
We do,
and we're
but
coming in. It's just okay.
It's not as good as Ragnarok. That's just a fact.
Okay.
But again, Chris Hemsworth, I have so much respect for him.
Yep.
His comedic timing has never been
he's
better.
amazing.
The writing is better. His body, I'm not even into men, but he is ripped. Like, he looks good without a shirt.
It's okay if you want to tell us about how much you love Chris Hemsworth.
Sometimes I like Chris Hemsworth.
Who freaking doesn't? He is amazing.
He does have a nude scene in this.
He does, yeah.
And I blushed a little.
Well publicized. Yeah, all the women fainted in the movie.
As they should. I think you nodded off there
I
for a
fainted.
second.
Yeah, everybody in the theater fainted. It was a moment.
Yeah, it was great.
No, but Hemsworth, I was thinking about this. This series made his life and his career. He's quite upfront about that, and he doesn't ever want to leave the character. Unlike Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and some of the other people that are contracted to this franchise, they want to see what else they can do. And Hemsworth is getting other opportunities. But I am feeling like the casting of Hemsworth was as incredible and beneficial for Marvel as it was when they cast Robert Downey Jr. or Chris. I think he's at that caliber. He is such such.
I don't know who else could play Thor the way that he does now. You know, and I don't know who else could make him as appealing. You could see him working, like he's having fun, but he's working too, and he's doing everything he can to make this movie great.
But also, there's an arc to the character as well, and I've talked about this even in Ragnarok as well. Like, he goes through some enormously brutal, heavy things. It's part of his myth and his story that even Korg is talking about, voiced by Taika Waititi again. You know, going back through all the people that he's lost, and there's enough pathos and concern and care and real heart in the performance that even though he's being a goofball and he's you know, making fun of himself, he's self-aware, you still feel the pain and you still feel the loneliness that the character is going through because of him.
It's a pretty profound pretty honest exploration of loneliness and depression. You can see the way in which he's pushing real emotion away early in the movie, and he goes on a journey. And you're right, like very few actors can do that as well as Chris Hemsworth can do it.
The action,
all of it,
the comedy,
the big arms,
the love, the arms,
like the neck. Like, where do you get a neck like that?
He went to the rock school of necks.
Why is my neck so small?
Is that what you have, neck envy?
I
want the neck.
I have everything envy with Chris Hemsworth. Jesus, look at that guy. But he's amazing, though, for sure. I really have so much respect for him.
I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's really entertaining.
This is why you can't review by yourself.
But I watch these movies by myself over and over again.
You're lost in your head.
But I really enjoyed this movie.
That's why I'm here for your reality check.
So what are you going to give it?
You know, honestly, my life is fine without seeing this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to be that guy, but this is a 6.5.
That's all right. That's okay. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Oh, really? I thought you'd go higher.
No, it's an 8.5 because there are some things about Ragnarok that make it a little more special.
Okay.
But that was fun, bud.
Nice to work with you, Regis.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I'm Kathy Lee. No, let's do that.